So here's the next question I want to look at. This one's a little bit tougher, but I want to show you how to do this algebraically. Then we're going to throw it into the calculator. But before I even start doing any algebra, I have to remember this is going to have another asymptote. The asymptote, of course, x plus 1 cannot equal to 0, so that means x cannot equal to negative 1. Very, very important to realize the non-permissible values. That really comes into play, all right? Also, that helps us in our graphing because then we know we have an asymptote at x equals to negative 1. Okay, how do we solve this mess? Look at this. X minus 1 over x plus 1 equals to x plus 6. Really, really simple. So simple that's going to freak you out. Home over 1. Guess what? There's our ally again. Something that we learned way, way, way back in grade 5. That cross multiplication never lets you down. 1 times x minus 1 is just x minus 1. But on the other side, you're going to have an x plus 1 and an x plus 6, which of course you're going to go out and FOIL. So when you FOIL this mess, you're going to get a beautiful result here of x squared times x, which is x squared, x plus, or I should say 6x, and x is going to give you 7x, and then 1 times 6 is going to give you 6. That still equals to this guy. Bring everything over to one side, okay? So when you bring everything over to one side, look what happens. That equals to 0, giving you an x squared. That's going to give you a plus 6x. Bring the 1 over. This is going to give you a plus 7. Unfortunately, at this point, it doesn't factor nice. Oh no. So what do? Well, real simple. Actually, you bring out the old quadratic formula. Minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over the old 2 Canadians there. Look at that. Beautiful. Awesome. 2a. So now, remember, that's a 1. That's the B term, that's the C term. Throw it in there. And it's not that tough. It may look like an awful lot of work to do, but oh my God, at this point, you should be pretty good. Minus, put the 6 in there, plus or minus, then you put your 6 squared, minus 4 times 1 times C, which is 7, all over 2 times 1. Now, we're going to clean this up as much as we can right away, and I'm going to show you some stuff which is really neat. This works out to be, of course, minus 6 plus or minus. There's 36 here. You're going to subtract 28. This is going to all be over 2. Simplifying it some more, okay? Minus 6 plus or minus 36 minus 28. That works out to actually being 8 over 2. Now, we're not done because you remember from Math 10C, you can break 8 down. 2 times 2 times 2, right? Take the pair out. You got a 2. Root 2 is your answer. So we can clean this guy up to be quite nice here. Take this guy right over here. We got minus 6 plus or minus 2 root 2 over 2. Divide every one of those, right? That goes into there, that goes into there, giving you minus 3 plus or minus root 2. There is your answer in beautiful form. No decimals, no nothing. Whew. Now, wait a second. Are we done yet? What if we want a decimal answer? I want to know what this actually is. Well, you know what? I can go into my calculator here, just find out what the square root of 2 is. Pretty easy to figure out. There's my calculator. Second square root 2. Looks like it's approximately 1.4. Oh, whoopee-doo. Okay, watch this. This means that this is minus 3 plus 1.4, and this means minus 3 minus 1.4. So what are my two answers? My two answers are easy. Minus 3 plus 1.4, I think that looks like minus 1.6, approximately minus 1.6. Because remember, that's a rounded number, okay? Minus 3 minus 1.4, that's, of course, going to give me minus 4.4. There we go. So there's my two answers. Now, as ugly as they may seem, we got to somehow graph this thing. Oh my God, yeah, this is going to be just ugly. Well, honestly, here's what I would do. Let's go back to the beginning to graph this. It's pretty much set up perfectly right from the start. Okay? There is your y1. There is your y2. I wouldn't move anything over. I wouldn't do anything. I would just use the y1, y2 function, and let's go to town, okay? So booting up my calculator here, I'm going to, again, since a rational, I'm going to use my F1 button. I'm going to bring in my fraction idea here. There's my x minus 1 over my x plus 1, right? And then, oh, I put it down as y2. That doesn't matter. I'll just put the other one right here. As long as you keep them separate, that's all that matters. Graph it. Let's see what it looks like. Oh my God, you look at that. Okay, as predicted, we have two answers. And here's a couple other things that we got to keep in mind. I wonder what they could be. Let's go back into graphing this and let's see if we can figure it out. First things first, look at y1. Of course, you got the non-permissible value at -1. So let's put that in here right now. There's my asymptote, right? There it is. Then also, don't forget, you have an x over an x. So now we can actually figure out our vertical asymptote. Or I should say our horizontal asymptote. Oh my gotcha. X over x means 1 over 1, which is, guess what? Yeah, you got a horizontal asymptote at 1. Oh, look how pretty this is. Now, you know what the answers are. You know by looking at this graph right here that we have two answers. We have an answer right here and an answer right here. Let's verify what those answers are. Okay, let's verify them right now. How do we verify them? Simple. Second calc, guess what we're looking for? We're looking for an intersect because you have a y1 and y2. Mouse close to this guy, there he is. Enter, enter, enter. And sure enough, there's my 4.41. Wow, there's my 4.41. Then second calc, let's find the next one. Intersect. Over to this side. Here we go. Move it on over. Okay, hit enter. Okay. Oh, this one's too close. Wait, wait, wait. Let's see if we can find. There it is. There it is. Enter, enter, and look at that. There's my almost -1.6 as predicted. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my graph here. Okay, I know I got a about a 4.4. So 4.4, I know I'm going to have something around here. Okay, and I know I'm going to have something around at the -1.6, which I'm going to have somewhere around here. Okay, now, wait a second. Hold on. This sounds really kooky because guess what? I don't have my other equation graphed yet. I don't have this x plus 6. Well, guess what? X plus 6 is simple. That's in the y equals mx plus b form. Oh, there's my y-intercept at 6. Boom. Rise of 1, run of 1. That's my slope, right? Rise of 1, run of 1. And look at this. I'm going to have a graph that goes down, whoa, as best as I can through there. Boy, that's a pretty pitiful graph, but oh well. Then I know that this guy comes along here, up like that. There's my two intersects at, and you know what? Just like they do in physics, you make the dot big enough and it looks glorious enough too. There's my two asymptotes, and we know that this guy goes out this way. There's my graphing of this question. Granted, my graphing is a little rough on a whiteboard like this, but you can kind of see it and it looks an awful lot prettier when it's right there. Stay tuned. I got one more question for you. Yeah.